What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today I'm giving you a little mini guide on how to get good at Tarkov and stop dying. I would say there's three parts to improving at any FPS game. The first one I would say is your aim, your raw aim and your raw input and how well you can shoot somebody. The second one would be game sense and game knowledge. The third one would be positioning. For your raw input and your aim, you want to make sure you have the right sense. Now, you can always go and copy your favorite streamer's sense, but that's not gonna work. You want to really find the sense that's for you, and if you found it on a different game, such as Apex or any other FPS game, there are sensitivity converters you can use to get the correct sense for Tarkov. Just make sure you put it in right and you'll get the right sense. With aiming, you could always aim train. People say that works for them, in which I think to an extent it does, but for Tarkov and most other FPS games, I would say just playing and shooting your gun will make you better. I think aim training is worth it to an extent. You're not going to get a lot better just from aim training and not playing the game. So really just making sure you have the correct sense and you're not too high or too low. You're right in the perfect middle ground is going to help you astronomically if you're not already like at that perfect sense. All right, so that's it for the aiming part. There's really not much you can improve on other than just playing the game or aim training and fixing your sense. We're gonna get into game sense here. Game sense is more knowing where players are, knowing where they're going, knowing what they're gonna do, what routes they're gonna take, and that all comes with time. So a lot of this video is just me gonna be saying play the game. So game sense is really, really important. I'd say it's more important than aiming and accuracy, just because even if you have bad aim, if you know where somebody's gonna go, you can just hold an angle and get an easy kill. So you really wanna make sure you're thinking about what's happening in the game. A lot of people really don't realize that. It sounds very simple to do, but when you're in the game, just think where these people are going to be, where the spawns are, where they're going to run to. And most of the time you can get easy kills and you can stay away from people if you want to as well. So there's a lot of, I think almost all the maps, except maybe Streets, because Streets is newer. They have maps where people have made the spawns. So if you wanted to, which would be an excellent way to improve, pull up a map with all the spawns and watch those spawns. When you spawn in, look at your spawn and then look at all the spawns around you. When you do that, you can get free kills. You can avoid people if you want to. It's just really important knowing where people are in the map to make sure you're not running into 5 dudes. You know what I'm saying? So knowing the common routes to take and where people loot and how they loot and how to get there, it's all going to take some time, you watching and playing the game. But once you nail that down, it's going to be so much easier. It'll help you get so much better just knowing where people are. Honestly, what helps me the most is just thinking where people are going to be. And I know, like I said, it sounds redundant and it doesn't sound like it'll help, but it will, trust me. Just think in your head where they're going to be, where they're going to come from, and just always be thinking that. If you're always thinking that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see them before they see you. So it's really helpful. All right, so the last part is positioning. I would say it kind of plays into game sense a little bit. Now, positioning is just as important as the other two parts. Like I was saying earlier about how knowing where people are going to come from and what routes they're going to take, if you can position yourself in a spot where somebody is going to run right out in front of you and you get a free kill, you should do that. I mean, it might sound like ratting, but you're just having good positioning. Also, when you're fighting somebody, you really want to be right-hand peeking. If you don't know the difference between left-hand peeking and right-hand peeking, I would suggest looking it up, because there's multiple videos on YouTube showing the difference between a right-hand peek and a left-hand peek. So when you left-hand peek, half of your body shows when you're lean peeking left. When you are right-hand peeking, only your head and a little bit of your arm shows. So the difference is huge. So you always want to be right hand peeking if possible. Just like not even leaning, but just being on the right side of cover. So where like when you're swinging, you're on the right side. You're like swinging right, you're not swinging left. It makes a huge difference because if you're swinging on somebody with a right peek, less of your body's going to be shown and you're going to see them before they see you. If you were swinging on the left, they would see all of your body immediately, and that's no bueno. So putting yourself in the right position is incredibly important. All these tips are super important, but like once you combine them together, that's how you get better. That's how you improve a Tarkov and stop dying. When you're running around a map, say interchange, what I like to do, I like to just like kind of hang on the edges. So like the back of the malls, the back of Ollie, the back of Goshen. I like hanging around there until I can get an idea of where the other players are. So you hear gunshots, yada yada. Most of the time, people like to go in the middle because that's where all the good loot is. There's tech light, the other tech, there's gonna be tons of people there. So what you can do is you can kind of play around that and look at the routes they take to get there, the routes they take to leave. Just keep in mind where all the players are on the map, and you'll have a much higher survival rate because you're not just sprinting around aimlessly, not knowing if somebody's near you. You know, not keeping track if there's a 5-man around the corner. I mean, obviously you hear them because they're like a fucking stampede. But the way to improve at Tarkov and really at any FPS game is just playing the game and getting familiar with the mechanics and how people behave and how the guns behave and how like just pretty much how the game works. So I know that's not like the glamorous answer that most people are looking for when they're like, how do I get good at Tarkov? The reality is you got to put in the time and you got to put in the effort. Hopefully these 3 like general tips help you improve at least a little bit, because obviously you're not going to instantly improve and instantly become landmark. You really have to put in the time and put in the effort to get better. And I mean, it just takes time. So don't get discouraged when you keep dying and shit like that. Just when you die, think of why you died. What mistake did you do? Were you out of position? Did you just miss? That will really help you improve, because the next time that happens, you'll know, right, I'm in the wrong spot. I gotta move. I gotta get into a right-hand peek. That's how you improve. You improve by failing, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's just how it works, and I don't make the rules. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing, liking the video, or following me on Twitch. That really helps, and you know, it really shows me that these videos are working and like helping people. I really like to teach people and help them get better at video games in general. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have an excellent day. Goodbye.